Housing First is a government programme to end chronic homelessness. So we're particularly focusing on people who are rough sleeping, people who have a long-term experience of homelessness living in hostels and shelters, and who also have complex needs around mental health and addiction. So the idea is to basically move people directly from the streets into permanent housing and then wrap very intensive supports around them.
The Housing First model is really what we call a person-centered model, okay? So it's not really about the homelessness or the housing. It's actually about helping the person get their life back.
The conventional response to homelessness, you put somebody into a hostel and shelter, then they start to deal with their issues around alcohol and addiction, and eventually they get to the point where they get permanent housing. The problem with that is people never get to the housing. A homeless person will tell you, in any conversation is, I need my own place. And it's their own place then that provides them really with a platform to start on a journey to recovery.
That it's a national rollout, it's terrific. You can guarantee that there's a commitment to a uniformity of practice.
Throughout the country, it's local authorities working with local health services, primary care, mental health services, addiction services, and NGOs, homeless charities.
When we've been developing the programme, we've been asking for people with lived experiences what has worked well and what are the challenges at the table with all of the departments involved and given their views and opinion.
The voice of the client is driving the program. So you want on the staff, not just the client, but a staff member who is a person with lived experience that can legitimately say to this client, look, I've been where you are. It doesn't have to be this way. And it's like they see what's possible.
It's less expensive than keeping people in emergency accommodation for a year at a time. And the results are so much better.
There's a robust both process evaluation and outcome evaluation because you want to demonstrate at the end of this time that you've done something useful.
Regions are constantly asking for feedback from tenancies who are involved. We also provide capacity building supports to ensure the success of the Housing First programme.
We're dealing with somebody at the moment who's been 35 years homeless. I suppose, even though you know the programme works, when you see it work with somebody like that, you're still blown away by the results.
People wake up and saying, it's the first time I've been able to sleep long enough to dream, and that they can cook a meal for themselves, make a pot of tea.
It's very important then that they're connected into things that are going on in the community, being part of, local clubs and societies, going to cinemas, knowing your neighbours. That's a very big part of the programme because they're the things ultimately that will keep people out of homelessness forever.